Well, we appreciate that donation, but I have another great story to share with you today, and I want to introduce you to a trio of people. I have Michelle, Bill, and Riley here, and they represent the Olson family. And you want my microphone, young man, don't you? Yes, he does. I know how that works. We have the 10-month-old twin boys at home, cell phones, remote controls, and I've never tried to give them one of my microphones, but I know they would take it in a heartbeat. Let's talk about Riley, because he's here in Dad's arms, and he's kicking, and he's chewing, and he's got a lot of life in him. He seems like a very healthy boy, but that was not the case. I was hoping that today, Michelle, you could share Riley's story, because he was born, and then 4 days later, you were already home. Life seemed great, the greatest gift you ever had, and then what happened?
He was born healthy as far as we knew, and then we took him home, and then 30 hours later, he suddenly got fussy, didn't want to eat, and his body temperature dropped and his color turned bad. And so we rushed him back to his birth hospital, and they looked at him and they said, oh, he probably has an infection, but let's send him to Dornbecker's anyway. And so the Panda team came and transported him, and when we got there was a cardiologist waiting for us. And long story short, Riley was born with several severe congenital heart defects. And he had his first surgery at 2 weeks of age to repair a coarctation of his aorta by the pediatric cardiology team. And he recovered and was in the hospital for about 40 days in the beginning. He came home at the beginning of August and did really well. And then he had a cardiac catheterization procedure at Dornbecker in January. He was just there overnight. But at that time, they learned that there were some other problems with the heart. And so he had open heart surgery February 13th of this year. And that went super well, better than expected, as a matter of fact, due to the fact that the cardiology team really was thoughtful and paid attention and spent a lot of time with him. And he was home 4 days after that, and since then, he's been doing great.
His birthday is when exactly?
June 20th.
Okay, so we just crossed over the 1 year mark here.
Yes, we had birthday festivities with the family and friends for 3 days. It was quite the extravaganza.
It's unbelievable, though. I imagine you had the ultrasounds before he was born. The baby's born. Up to this point, it looks like Riley's coming home healthy and as happy as can be, and then you get the news that this is your first child. And could you imagine when you heard the news, like, this is really happening to us?
You know, you don't think that those kinds of things happen. You hear about horror stories that happen to people's children, and you don't think that could happen to us, because I was healthy during the pregnancy. He was born on his due date. Everything was fine. And he had the ultrasounds, and they said everything looks great. And then suddenly, 4 days after he's born, we're back at the hospital. And, you know, we didn't know. We'd heard of Dornbecker's. We'd only lived in Portland for 2 years, and we'd heard of them, and we didn't know that they had one of the premier pediatric cardiology teams right here in our backyard, and they saved his life.
I know they do all the incredible medical miracle works up there at Dornbecker. As someone who's had to experience their work, can you explain what else they may do for you, just as a family emotionally there at the hospital?
Oh, absolutely. You know, we spent time in all the wards, really. We were in the neonatal care center, and then we were in the pediatric ICU, and then on the regular ward. And they really treat you as a family. He's not just a patient, he's a child. And he's got parents. That's right. He's got parents, and, you know, it was a really traumatic time for us when we were there, you know, recovering from giving birth and just in shock, and our families were there. And he really, you know, the doctors, but especially the nurses, you know, they take care of you. They took care of us. They made sure that I was eating. They, you know, talked to us and explained things over and over again. And, you know, they just took care of the whole family, and we really, really appreciated that. And we're still friends with some of the nurses today. They still, you know, get...
Pardon me? Was that one of the nurses' names there you were trying to shout out for us?
Are you shouting out?
You could see Riley. We had a great shot of him there on the screen. Up there it is again. How can you not look at this young boy's face as he tries to reach for my microphone? There it is, sir. How can you not look at this young boy's face and not dial one of the phone numbers on your screen? Help Dornbecker's today. Save another child's life like they saved Riley's life. Olsons, thank you so much, Bill and Michelle, for bringing Riley here today. Riley, do you mind if I say goodbye? Bye-bye. Bye-bye, pal. We have to send it back to Stephanie now. She has a microphone that no one else is clutching to. Stephanie?
Bye-bye. He's so cute. Thank you guys so much for sharing your story.